So just to quickly run through what I'll be talking to you about today, I'll give you a quick introduction on myself and my background, and to Pierangelo's point, how I came about working in PR and that kind of journey. I wanted to give you some tips and advice on identifying your career path and just as you're finishing college now, what the kind of next steps could be. And then an overview of working in PR. It's a very exciting time to be in PR given recent developments, and it's a very interesting industry. And then I'll also allow for some time for questions and answers as well. Okay, great. So as I said, my name is Heather Ann Cody. I'm a senior client manager at 360, which is a PR agency in Dublin. To start off, I studied a Bachelor of Arts degree in Sociology and English in Maynooth University. I found that really, really useful and a great foundation for my career. I suppose the beauty of studying arts is that it's very broad and you can kind of specialise after that. Now, at this point, I always knew I wanted to work in public relations, but I graduated from school in 2007, and at that stage there wasn't a specific public relations offering at undergrad level. So I specialised at master's level. I did a master's at DIT in public relations. And then following that, I moved to Australia and worked in Australia in Sydney for 5 years for a PR agency called Weber Shandwick, which was really incredible experience, working with major global brands like MasterCard, American Airlines, Taronga Zoo, which is one of the major zoos in the world. And I specialised in brand and consumer PR. Now I'll go into what PR is and the kind of day-to-day stuff in a few minutes. But yeah, for me, a grounding of international experience and starting my career abroad has been really beneficial. It really kind of opened my eyes up to different opportunities, working with different cultures and different brands. So I found that really, really helpful. And then I came home 3 years ago to Dublin, and I've been working with 360 since, where I'm a senior client manager, and I work with a various number of brands across healthcare, corporate, consumer, and tech space as well. So identifying your career path, a couple of kind of tips and pieces of advice here. First of all, I would say pinpoint your passions. So really look at what it is you're interested in, where your skills lie, from experiences that you've had and people that you've spoken to, what kind of areas maybe perhaps companies really interest and excite you. Because I find day to day, for myself and my colleagues as well, when you're happy and you're interested in what you're doing, that's when success really shines. So I think that's really helpful. The next point, I would say research and reach out. So do some research into the various industries or companies that you may be interested in, and reach out to as many people as you can that may be involved in those industries or working at those companies. And I would say kind of broaden your horizons with this. Don't kind of confine yourself to the specific topics that you've been studying or particularly industries that you might have experience in. I'd say branch out, because I think now more than ever, companies are looking for a diverse set of skills. I know at 360, our workforce is a team of professionals with backgrounds in politics, English, sociology, journalism, healthcare, even government for the public affairs side. So yeah, really diverse skills, particularly in PR, and gain experience as much as you can. For me, I did 3 different internships before I started my first job in Sydney, and I found that really helpful to get some kind of hands-on experience, learn on the job, and really get a feel for different sectors and industries, and kind of within PR, the subjects and clients that I'd like to work in as well. So yeah, that kind of gives you a lot of opportunity to learn, and a lot of insight as well. And then lastly, I would say go with your gut. Very often, you know yourself if something is right for you and you're happy and you're enjoying it and you're getting a lot from it, that's very often when you're on the right path. So yeah, I think follow your gut instinct, talk to as many people as you can, and reach out to gain experience and be proactive about that. And I know, like, currently it's an interesting time to be graduating with a lot of uncertainty around, but still I would encourage you to be proactive in your approach to pursuing your career path, because you never know what opportunities will open up, and very often with challenging times comes great opportunities, because I found a lot of our clients that we're working with are adapting to different kind of working scenarios and different and finding different ways and approaches to working, as opposed to, say, groups and gatherings and events. We're bringing stuff online and digital. So yeah, it's a really interesting time. So to go into a bit more detail about working in PR and what PR is essentially, um, really there's never 2 days that are the same in PR, and that's probably one of the things that I really enjoy about it. It's a very interesting space. Um, and then to that point, so for at 360, we work with various amounts of clients, and no approach to clients is the same. Every kind of client need and client objectives would be different. But to kind of give you an overview of our approach, so we would bring in a client and take a brief and understand fully what their objectives are and what they want to achieve. And we would build a strategy around that. And I would say that's the most important piece, to get that strategy right, to make sure that everyone understands what it is that we want to achieve and how we're going to achieve it. So that's the kind of strategic thinking behind PR. The second step then would be to connect with key stakeholders. So when we say stakeholders, that would be very dependent on what the project or the campaign is. For more traditional media relations clients, we'd be reaching out to media, so they'd be a key stakeholder. We would take on clients who would want to influence government, so government parties would be key stakeholders there. For other clients, we would be running major launches and events, and experiences, so suppliers would be a consideration there. So yeah, making sure that we're connecting with the right audiences in order to influence them and work with them. And then be the go-to expert. So this is probably one of the most important things that we do. We are the go-to experts for example, for what's happening in the media. So a big part of my day today is monitoring media outlets, radio, online, in print as well, to understand what's happening. For example, today, developments around the coronavirus, and understanding how what the consumer sentiment and media sentiment is around that is really important for our clients, particularly in the healthcare space. So we've become the go-to source for any information and updates around that. Then the next point should be implement. So implementation of the strategy that we've developed. And like I say, every campaign is different, and I'll go through two examples of what that would look like for two specific clients in a moment. But that's the kind of rollout, and how we would approach that is to set a clear timeline of activity to make sure that what the objectives that we've set out to achieve are realistic in that time frame, and that we will get clear results. And as that kind of timeline rolls out, we're constantly reviewing and analysing our work to ensure that we're achieving what it is that we set out to achieve. And sometimes, you know, an element about PR is that it is very much out of our control sometimes. So if something happens, breaks in the news, or like we're experiencing now, a form of natural disaster, that's obviously very much out of our control. So we need to be nimble with our clients and adapt our work to suit the current landscape and climate within the media and kind of society as a whole. So I have a video here to show you, but just to give you a bit of background before I start, Liffey Valley Shopping Centre is one of our clients, and last year at the start of the year we set out to position the centre as a destination for families and people within the area. So a huge part of that was to create experiences at the shopping centre, because we know that from our research and insight that once we create an experience there, people will come and spend longer there. And our main two objectives for this client was to build on footfall, so get more people to come to the shopping centre, and also boost social media engagement as well. So this particular campaign that I'm going to show you is the Liffey Valley Life Sessions. So last summer, we created a beautifully styled setting at Liffey Valley Shopping Centre, targeting mums and females with and without kids. That's kind of our target audience. And we partnered with key influencers and ambassadors to create 3 different experiences. So the first one was parenting. We partnered with Lucy Wolf, and we held sessions for mums, kind of teach them about helping their kids sleep. And that was really successful and really engaged with our audience on many kind of levels, but it encouraged our audience into Liffey Valley and created a really positive experience for the brand as well. And we know from creating these experiences, they're very memorable and really help to boost positive sentiment as well. And then there was 2 other sessions. So one was clothing and one was beauty. So we set up these sessions at the centre, and then also launched a fully integrated comms campaign around it. So social media and digital were key. So we had Facebook, Instagram and Twitter all running with various content across the week-long campaign. And we also did a Facebook Live, which worked really, really well. And then something else for digital video is at the moment the most engaged form of social media content. So we created videos for each of the live sessions and rolled them out over social media accounts for anyone who couldn't attend the sessions. And we found that really successful as well for our channels. People were really engaged. So I'll just show you this video here. And this is also an example of something that we created in our agency as well. So we've got a fully fledged digital studio who create all the content for social. We do video, we do data analysis, creative design, and digital strategy as well.
Everyone for coming out to Liffey Valley. So this is the first of the Liffey Valley live sessions.
And I'd create 2 naps a day, and I would bring your bedtime forward.
It was great to see so many parents here today, Jodie, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's been an absolutely great morning. I think all the mums learned a lot, they loved it, and they're off to enjoy their time now with their babies in Liffey Valley, the complete lifestyle destination.
Tell me, what is your must-have, can't live without piece from today's fashion show?
Oh, that's too hard, because there's like 30 looks from 80 stores.
I am exactly with you on that. I absolutely loved everything that you styled today. It was so chic, so elegant.
It was great to be here with the Liffey Valley Live Sessions today. It was great to be back. It's where I started this whole journey in England 4 years ago, so it was amazing, and thank you everyone who came.
So that was Liffey Valley and a campaign that we did for them. Another really exciting campaign that we worked on 2 years ago now was the launch of Qatar Airways into Ireland. So we were tasked with launching the brand in Ireland and their inaugural flight, which was really, really exciting for us. So there was a couple of elements to this campaign. Firstly, we developed the strategy, like I talked about earlier. We managed the event logistics for the launch event, which was held at the Intercontinental. So we had over 250 guests who were all key stakeholders in the tourist and travel industry in Ireland attend the gala event. And we also invited high profile ambassadors such as Rob Carney, that you see in the corner there, and Roz Purcell. So the kind of thinking behind having those people attend was to build relationships for Qatar Airways with key stakeholders and ambassadors to kind of build momentum of their brand within the launch period, and then maintaining the momentum ongoing after that as well. So we managed the full logistics of the event and all the kind of stakeholder mapping, ensuring that we were getting the right people in the room in order to build a profile for Qatar Airways in Ireland. And that's something really important when it comes to PR, is building relationships with the right people in order to meet the results and the objectives of the campaign. We launched a fully fledged media relations campaign around this. So we invited key top-tier travel media to Dublin Airport when the inaugural flight landed. And this was really effective and a really good way of educating the media on the brand. The media got to meet key spokespeople from the business as well, to kind of better understand the business plans and the kind of logistics of the flights and stuff as well. So that went a long way in building the relationships with key media in Ireland. And then following that, we issued a media release out to all the national publications, kind of online, print and broadcast as well, about the news of the Qatar Airways launch. And we achieved over 50 pieces of coverage, which was really strong. And the next day it was in all the print papers, which was really exciting to see. And we also set up some keynote interviews with top tier media and members of the Qatar Airways business executive team as well. So yeah, this was really, really successful. We worked on them with them on the launch of the brand, and then continuously for the year following on various activities such as press trips, where we flew key travel and tourist media over to Doha, which is the city, capital city in Qatar, and that was a really effective way of building relationships, like I say, but also securing coverage in kind of top tier travel publications and national media as well. And then the press conference is actually another important point here. We held a press conference in the Intercontinental the next day, which gave media an opportunity to ask questions with key executives from Qatar Airways as well. So that's kind of it in terms of the presentation. I hope that's given you a good overview of PR and the kind of work that we do.